complete, we will keep the board apprised of any additional developments as to the FTA's triennial review. Further, FTA's agency safety plan audit that was announced previously in June, we received that notification from the FTA that it was initiating an audit of MARTA's implementation of its agency safety plan. And we welcome the opportunity to demonstrate the significant investments MARTA has made in system safety, patron and employee safety, as well as crime prevention. In response to the audit, our team met with the FTA staff and provided extensive documentation as requested that detailed the authority's investments in the same. We continue to meet with the FTA as they continue their review of MARTA. As we have said consistently, MARTA shares the federal administration's commitment as well as the deep commitment of the state and local partners of ours to the safety of our employees and our patrons. We will continue to take every appropriate step to ensure MARTA remains safe and secure. Upcoming jurisdictional briefings. Over the next several weeks, I will present MARTA's third quarter briefings to each of our jurisdictional partners. These briefings will provide an opportunity, as you know, to highlight our major initiatives, share our experience managing the unprecedented demands of the World Cup, and provide updates on other key projects and priorities across the authority, as well as to hear directly from the governing bodies of our jurisdictional partners. With respect to BRT camera enforcement, as you know, MARTA pursued the state legislation over the past several years to authorize camera enforcement in bus-only lanes. We received a favorable opinion from the Legislative Council concluding that because of the majority of the Summerhill BRT or Rapid A line operating within the city of Atlanta, the home rule authority applies, which means local municipalities have the ability to enforce our bus-only lanes on their roadways. Our government affairs and legal services teams will work with the City of Atlanta, MPD, and MARTA staff to determine the appropriate coordination, equipment, and technology capabilities necessary to appropriately and effectively enact lane enforcement on the Rapid A line and other lines as they come online. Finally, this summer marked an important moment for MARTA, the region, and the state with respect to the FIFA World Cup and hosting the same. Now I'd like to call up some of MARTA's staff leaders who collectively represent the thousands of MARTA employees who made this a success possible, and they will talk and walk you through the final numbers, results, experiences from the World Cup operation. I believe the point lead first is somebody that's very familiar to the board, Mr. Gordon. Mr. Gordon, will you kick us off and then bring up all of the leaders who helped you drive
Absolutely.
This initiative?
All right. Good day, Chair Ide, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, and members of the board. I'm John Gordon, Director of Customer Engagement. It is an honor to provide an overview of MARTA World Cup experience. The agenda displayed on screen will be briefly summarized by me and my colleagues. But first, a view down memory lane. Please play the video. right, now let's recognize the magnitude of what we've accomplished together. MARTA saw 7.92 million ridership from June 11th through July 15th, with a surge of about 4.7 million on rail, 47% higher than the same period last year, with a similar host of large-scale special events, including Club World Cup, Peachtree Road Race, and a Beyonce concert series. Rail was the linchpin for moving massive crowds efficiently, safely, and reliably. MARTA kept Atlanta moving and ensured a seamless patron experience across 8 days of FIFA matches and fan festivals, 11 days of fan festivals, and watch parties, including the annual Northside Hospital Peachtree Road Race. This historical event was comparable to an 8 Super Bowls in terms of total daily rail ridership. Match day number 4, Morocco versus Haiti, recorded the highest daily rail ridership, which would have ranked in the top 10 for 2019, the year before the pandemic. Now allow me to introduce Daniel Heck, Deputy Chief Mechanical Officer, to summarize operations.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Daniel Hecht, and I'll be speaking on behalf of operations. During match days and fan fest days, we operated a 5-minute headway schedule on the rail system from the start of revenue service until 10:30 p.m. A weekday scheduled train departures increased from 784 train departures to 1,012 train departures, and weekend schedules more than doubled from 470 to 1,012 on those 5-minute headways. We had support staff along all the rail corridors. The load and go teams were located at Vine City, SEC District, 5 Point Station. And then we had train control, electric, track, railcar mechanics and technicians and other staff dispersed throughout the entirety of our system, at various locations to assist with any issues that arose during the game days and fan fest days. We did insert an additional 237 total trains during this time, extra service trains on top of the 5-minute headways that I already discussed. This slide will show you how the customers were metered into the station. And it's not playing. That's okay. What we did, and you can see it here in the picture, the 3 escalators coming down in the station. As the fans came in, the station filled up. They went through those lines. It backed up to a point at the escalators. We metered people at the escalator to control the flow of individuals at the concourse and had lines up above where live performers were playing. And overall, the flow of the passengers ended up consistent throughout and cleared most of the events within about a 60 to 90-minute time frame. Here is a photo, and I doubt this will work as well, of the stations. Yeah. The platform would fill up as patrons came down the escalators to the platform. And once on the platform, a train would pull up. And even with the 4-car consist at 5-minute headways, by the time the platform filled up with passengers, the entire platform would clear with each one of these trains. All right, new implementations that were implemented as part of World Cup. We spoke briefly at the Operations and Safety Committee on the bollards for the escalator safety. Those worked extremely well during World Cup. They really did help with passenger flow and metering in the stations, and we are implementing those not just in the downtown corridor, but other high ridership stations, and we are excited to see how those work at Peachtree Center for the upcoming Dragon Con Parade. The equipment control desk, that was a new implementation at Rail Control, and that was mechanics, technicians, individuals extremely familiar with how our equipment works so that when something went wrong, we had eyes in the IOC helping dispatch people and solve problems before the customers could even see it happening. We also did extensive modified track allocation to allow for those 5-minute headways, and there was a huge pivot in the amount of capital program work and maintenance work that was done on our track system to ensure that the system remained safe and reliable. And just to shout out external support, individuals, especially from Georgia Power, they had standby crews available to assist with any power issues that we had. So it was not just a MARTA effort. There was a lot of players involved that assisted MARTA operations in ensuring amazing customer service during this event. I will pass it to Gina Major.
Good morning. I'm Gina Major, and I am the Deputy Chief of Safety and Quality Assurance at MARTA, and I am going to give you an update on our safety coverage. I'm going to cover 3 areas: safety risk management, our public health tables, and reunification points. During the World Cup, our approach to safety risk management was rooted in preparation, presence, and proactive engagement. We deployed approximately 80 safety and QA staff, which included our leadership team embedded inside of the Emergency Operations Center on every match and fan festival day, ready to support operations as needed. Ahead of World Cup, we conducted targeted DSQA readiness training covering hazard identification and mitigation, station evacuations, and station protocols. And you saw this training in action throughout the system. There was escalator metering, one person per step, reinforced with the yellow bollards that Daniel just showed in his presentation that added single line formation, and bullhorn announcements. On the upper right-hand side of the photo is one of our DSQA team members assisting with escalator metering. We also supported platform management, and that was also shown in the slide before that Daniel shared, ensuring patrons stayed behind the yellow tactile strips while waiting as trains entered. And fare gate monitoring to keep entries and exits through our fare gates orderly. Now, another key part of our safety risk management was special observation and monitoring for hazards. So staff were vigilant in identifying and reporting issues for immediate resolution, including examples such as an unclaimed item near one of our train control rooms and a sanitation incident on the platform which needed to be contained. These types of actions helped maintain safety and operational continuity. In parallel to all of this, DSQA continued to actively provide daily on-call response coverage across the system to address any specific safety events as needed. Now, on the customer care side, our public health tables were a big fan favorite and employee favorite for that matter. We operated 6 tables at 5 Points, SEC District, Vine City, Garnett, Peachtree Center, and Lindbergh, providing heat relief and minor medical support such as frozen soccer ball ice packs, handheld fans, sunscreen, cold waters, first aid supplies, such as is shown in the upper middle photo and on the bottom photo. In addition to distributing these essentials, our team assisted with 45 medical events, including cases of heat-related illnesses, cuts, scrapes, and other minor incidents, and the appreciation from patrons and MARTA employees was constant. And the medical statistics shown here reflect that impact. This is one of the implementations that we will see going forward for other significant MARTA events. And then lastly, we co-located our family and friends reunification points adjacent to our public health tables to ensure that anyone separated from their group could quickly reconnect. And for example, during one match day, I had the opportunity to assist a lost father and son who were swiftly reunited thanks to these dedicated safe zones. And so that's the upper left happy picture that's shown. So a crucial part of their story, though, was the MARTA ambassador who, drawing on the broader training that had been provided, the broader MARTA readiness training, knew to bring the father to the reunification point. So he did not have a phone with him, so he was asking around and came to a MARTA ambassador who brought him to us, and we were able to assist them and get them reunited. So in an event of this scale, providing reunification points is more than a logistical detail. It's a commitment to the well-being of every attendee. These safe zones ensure that families and friends can reconnect quickly and confidently, reinforcing our responsibility to deliver not just a secure environment, but a compassionate one. So I do want to thank every MARTA team member for their dedication, especially the board. I personally want to say it was great to have our board members out there serving with us and being ambassadors. Our collective efforts from risk management to rapid medical response and reunification demonstrate what's possible when we all work together to put safety first. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Chief Crayer.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm always happy to talk about the good things of the MPD. As you know, we started 6 weeks of 6-day work weeks with one off day. The team made it all through those 6 weeks with temperatures in the high 90s, heat index over 100. And I just can't express how proud I am of the work that they did over the 6-week period. It really showed, and we're going to get into some of the stats, but I just wanted to throw that out there. I wanted to also reflect on Gina's comments. It was great to see board members out there. The officers noticed, so you are noticed when you're out there. The officers would talk to me about it and go, "Hey, there's a board member over there." I'm like, "All right, good." We also had a successful turnout from our Denver folks. 25 officers came from Denver. Unfortunately, the chief called me the other day because 2 of his officers that came to Atlanta have now applied for the MARTA Police Department and will be coming to work for us, hopefully. So we're looking forward to having them come into our fold. The contract EMS support, this is something we're going to have to continue. We're going to have it during Labor Day weekend for DragonCon. But as Gina mentioned, a combination of those tables and this EMS support, I got a call from Atlanta's fire chief saying, "Hey, we really appreciate that because what it does is it cuts down the number of calls that they get having to come into the stations and deal with our customers." So they were very appreciative of that contract support. Of course, every match day and every Fan Fest day, we had our EOC, Emergency Operations Center, operational, and our mobile command vehicle. Hopefully you got to see that out there when you were out there. But all those days they were out there fully active during the entire events. You probably saw the K-9 officers doing the daily sweeps. They didn't just do one, they did several a day to make sure that the stations were safe. And then of course our special ops, our SWAT, EOD folks, you saw them too staged during every event, both Fan Fest and on match days. So the communication piece was probably what I felt like was most successful about keeping our system safe. We had a daily operations meeting with the Atlanta Police in the city of Atlanta that I attended to. And then after that, directly after that meeting, DMG Allen, she was our incident commander for the entire event. And then we would get on a call with her and the incident command staff that we identified early in the process. And we all talked about whatever's coming up next or what went wrong or what didn't go wrong the day before. So the communication level was top notch through the entire 6 weeks. We also had touch point scheduled meetings with me and the command staff at MARTA PD just to make sure that we were on the same page. So again, the line of communication through this entire event was seamless. And even when we had significant security issues that the city of Atlanta would issue out, we were able to jump on a call with a team and talk about what we needed to do operationally to make sure we navigated those things. Of course, while we were there, the acting TSA director, she was here for a quick visit. That's her in the bottom left down there. So she was able to see some of the activities that we do here at MARTA Police Department and MARTA in general. But as you know, I think the permanent TSA director was picked last week. Train patrol. This was probably the public's best view of MARTA during these 6 weeks. I got more comments and more pro-police comments from the public over the last 6 weeks about the presence on the trains. And of course, as you know, we've committed to the public that as we roll out those new trains, we're going to have a new train patrol. I just had the new train patrol patch created for our officers to wear, and you'll get one of those once I get some more in that I can share with you. But they're going to identify as a new unit, a train patrol unit, because we really feel it's that important. Crime. So the 28-day pay period during this event, compared year over year to last year, we saw a 45% reduction in Part 1 crimes in that 28-day pay period. I think that shows you a couple of things. One, the sheer number of security staff out there, but also the sheer number of riders. I think we're safer the more people we have in the system, the more people that are in our stations. Part of this crime reduction obviously goes to all MARTA employees, because guess what? They were out there too. You guys were out there. Everybody was out there with eyes and ears, and what that does is that keeps criminals, away. And they think, no, this is not a good idea to be here. So I think that's a big part of what we saw was just the sheer number of people riding the system, and I hope we continue to see that increase. And that's my favorite fan there on the right there. You can't really tell by the picture, but his entire suit was lit up with lights. I don't know if you saw him up there, but he's a good guy there. But with that, I'm going to turn it over to Tyson Morris with the intelligence or the information.
Good morning, board members. As MARTA hosted soccer fans from around the globe for the World Cup, technology played a vital role in keeping our systems moving safely and efficiently. Today, I want to talk you through how our team executed during the event, focusing first on our operational stability and then on technology enhancements that directly served our passengers. And that operational stability starts with how we managed our core infrastructure. To ensure MARTA was fully prepared for the World Cup, our top priority in the Department of Technology was providing operational stability and zero downtime. Leading into and throughout June and July of 2026, we instituted a strict technology change freeze to ensure maximum system stability. Our Network Operations Center provided continuous around-the-clock monitoring and supported throughout the event. We updated and supported the technology in our Integrated Operations Center, the IOC, for real-time activation and coordination. And thanks to all these operational controls, MARTA achieved 99.99% uptime across our network and critical applications throughout June and July, with 0 Priority 1 incidents logged across the entire World Cup activations. In short, our core technology infrastructure operated behind the scenes with total reliability when MARTA needed it most. Hand in hand with our flawless operations, we delivered critical technology upgrades to enhance safety, connectivity, and overall passenger experience. We deployed new AI-powered camera technology system across 8 key stations, providing real-time operational visibility and heightened security awareness. To handle massive international crowds, we expanded and upgraded our Wi-Fi and cellular coverage throughout the underground stations, backed by critical network switch upgrades to ensure high-speed connectivity. We fixed and replaced and upgraded 99% of our audiovisual information systems, also known as AVIS, ensuring real-time arrival info was accurate and visible to passengers. And lastly, in the middle of the World Cup excitement, we successfully launched the new MARTA Mobility app, delivering a new digital experience for our paratransit riders. In closing, these numbers and metrics represent far more than just successful IT operations. They represent the tireless dedication of the entire Department of Technology team. Preparing for and executing during the event of this magnitude required months of planning, seamless cross-departmental coordination, and round-the-clock commitment to our staff. Whether monitoring systems 24/7 in the NOC, supporting live operations in the IOC, or working behind the scenes to deploy new station technologies, our team worked relentlessly to ensure MARTA shined on the World Cup stage. We have a mantra in IT that every day is game day, and we will ensure we build on the successes during the World Cup and will continue to deliver on our day-to-day service for our riders even after the dust has settled. I couldn't be prouder of IT's dedication and exceptional standard of excellence they delivered for MARTA and for our region. Thank you. Now I'll turn it over to Matthew Pollack for a review of our capital delivery.
Good afternoon, Chair Ide, Mr. Hunt, Ms. Allen, and members of the board. Over the past year, MARTA's capital delivery teams delivered a focused set of upgrades across key stations and beyond. Each of these projects presented unique challenges, but all shared a common goal: enhancing the environment for our riders through improved safety, accessibility, and aesthetics. All of this work was delivered ahead of the World Cup to ensure MARTA could support the surge and provide a welcoming, intuitive system for our riders. Our projects, like FIFA in general, focused on the rider experience, whether customers were arriving, departing, or simply needing a comfortable place to pause during their journey. One area where we saw tremendous impact was wayfinding. We deployed a comprehensive set of new signs, both temporary and permanent, across high-traffic stations. These upgrades greatly enhanced clarity for riders and helped reduce confusion, especially for the large volume of international visitors. The opening of the Rapid A line introduced bus rapid transit service to the region, marking a major milestone. At the airport, the addition of the new elevator and ride store further reinforced our commitment to upgrading key entry points to our system. And finally, your continued support of the station rehabilitation program enabled us to complete several major projects addressing core infrastructure elements such as platforms, lighting, and structural components. These upgrades not only enhanced the look and feel of key stations, but also strengthened system resilience and long-term safety. In short, completing these projects ahead of the World Cup was an important milestone, but the long-term value lies in the modernized, more welcoming environment we're creating for our daily riders. With that, I'll turn things over to Nevin Grinnell.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm going to share with you some information on Better Breeze, but also a lot of the other initiatives under the customer experience team. Just to give you an overview, as mentioned before, almost 8 million riders rode MARTA during this World Cup timeframe. And with the Better Breeze system, payment was huge to make it easier for our riders to ride. If I had one chart, I'd probably focus on this one single chart. And let me unpack this a little bit. Again, with open payments, again, the use of credit cards, use of their phone or their watch, customers were able to easily tap and ride through our system. As you see on the left, 135 countries were represented, and we took a look at the origin of those credit cards. All right, and of those individuals produced 77,000 taps. Again, not looking at the U.S., looking at the origin of those credit cards. And again, on the right side, you could see all of the different locations across the globe. Again, if I had to present one chart, this would be huge. If we think about this, 138 different countries were represented. If you think about that, they're not familiar with our system, may not speak our language, and ride other systems. But because of open payments, they were able to easily ride through our system. They didn't have to spend any dwell time at the ticket vending machines, understanding our tickets. They're able to easily slide right through, okay? And the pie chart down there says open payments represented 40%, and then when you add in the virtual, almost 45% of the total media purchases. Again, we did not have that before, and with that addition, made traffic a lot easier as far as the crowds riding through, and again, made it easier for our customers. Additionally, with our technology, we launched the new It's MARTA website as well as the MARTA app in 9 different languages. Also, with our app, we combined the rider tools plus the CSAY in our vision to, again, consolidate all of our apps. The stat here is that 4.5 million page views between the World Cup timeframe, and that was 3 times our daily rate pre-World Cup. In addition, and I don't know if many of you saw it, but at 5 Points, we launched our new Trips digital signage that provided, again, that additional information to make sure that customers knew or could find out where they needed to go. And then also the team behind the scenes from a technical standpoint maintained our customer data platform. Again, maintaining that real-time information with zero downtime. They handled 138 million requests, meaning people going into the app or the website, looking for directions, looking for information. We had 138 million requests that they were able to satisfy. And then the last at the bottom, our app store, before we launched, or our old app, we had a rating of about 1.9. And based on our new app, we were able to increase that to 4.0. And again, I don't know if you all are familiar, but it's easy for those ratings to slide down on an app, but it's very challenging to raise those ratings. From a customer service standpoint, and again, I'd be remiss with Donna De Jesus leading that team of customer service. Again, we talk a lot about our ambassadors, we talk about our operators, but these folks are also on the front line. They represent our customers, or they talk to our customers on a daily basis. And those calls also increased. I know John talked about last year, so if we compare it to last year, we did have the club games, and then we had the Beyonce concert series, which generated a lot of activity. But if you look at FIFA, those calls increased almost by 30%. Okay. Also, our emails increased 85% during that same time frame. So this team was very busy interfacing with these customers that were to answer their questions. Also, the top 3 social posts, and as we looked at all of the social posts, the top 3 social posts happened to be positive social posts, representing 65% of our posts. The first one, folks looking for that FIFA card. The second one, positive comments regarding the service and overall experience. And then the last was the staff, just the presence, everybody being out there. And then I'll end on just some customer comments. Obviously, I plucked these from all the customer comments, but many of them were very positive. You can see with the trains and the frequency up at the top. Also increased train frequency on the weekend, being a game changer. Love the FIFA Breeze cards and the easiest and most efficient way to travel. All right, we probably should put this at the end because we also want to talk about the ambassador program, and I believe John will follow up with that.
Hello again. So, as my colleague said, we put our full workforce behind this event to support our frontline colleagues. Over 600 non-represented employees stepped up as transit ambassadors to fill more than 6,400 assignments system-wide. We had beyond 250 external volunteers, MARTA retirees, members of transit advocacy organizations, FIFA volunteers, and many more. And did I mention, we put our full workforce behind this event. All hands, all levels, we were all in together. As we mentioned earlier, new implementations such as smart metering queues manage crowd flow, providing an organized and continuous journey to and from the trains. Live entertainment maintained positive crowd momentum and lowered travel stress, keeping energy up and patrons moving smoothly in and out of the system. Now, to finish it off, allow me to introduce Michelle Arrington, Assistant General Manager of External Affairs, to summarize marketing and communications.
Thank you, John. Good afternoon, everyone. Michelle Arrington, Assistant General Manager of External Affairs, and I'll provide an update for you all in regards to our marketing and communications team. I want to briefly highlight the marketing and sales results from MARTA's World Cup campaign. The campaign gave MARTA a major opportunity to welcome the world to Atlanta, showcase the system, support riders, and reinforce MARTA as a safe, clean, reliable, and convenient way to move around the city. Across the campaign, MARTA generated approximately 40 million impressions, showing the strength of a multi-channel strategy that included digital, out-of-home, transit advertising, print, streaming, paid social, and email. We also generated approximately $588,000 in advertising revenue, driven by high-value opportunities tied to the tournament and MARTA's Tier 1 station assets. And on the merchandise side, we generated approximately $89,000 in MARTA merch sales, showing that customers respond when MARTA merchandise connects to culture, civic pride, and a major moment for the city. The bigger takeaway is that the World Cup helped MARTA show up in a strong, visible, and culturally relevant way. And now that the focus is keeping the momentum going beyond the tournament, and our lower right-hand corner are the two graphic design members team that designed those amazing shirts that everyone loves. So just wanted to highlight them. One of the standout moments, of course, from the campaign was the specialty merchandise and apparel. So the custom jerseys, including the match day black jersey and fan festival beige jersey, became more than just staff apparel. They became a visible part of the campaign experience. They helped MARTA feel connected to the energy of the World Cup while also giving employees, riders, and fans something that felt local, memorable, and culturally relevant. We heard stories of people asking to buy the jerseys literally off our backs, and that speaks to the strength of the design and the opportunity to continue building MARTA merchandise as both a brand building tool and a revenue platform. So these results really show how major events can help us engage riders, create pride in the brand, and identify new opportunities for future campaigns, merchandise, and partnerships. And with that, I'll shift to our news media update. As you know, the period right before World Cup was one of intense scrutiny for the authority, during which our system's safety and preparedness were questioned. So during the month-long event, we kept our media communications focused on messages of readiness, affordability, and security. We provided a steady cadence of interviews and information about our service, safety, ridership, and where to find World Cup branded Breeze cards, including an online situation report that was updated frequently and easily accessible for news outlets and other stakeholders. The team worked to ensure that our core message of let MARTA drive, safe, clean, reliable, and ride with respect were the foundation of all World Cup communications. This consistent engagement with the news media and the availability of information contribute to a record 7,500 news impressions during the month of World Cup and an advertising value equivalent of $163 million. The engagement we experienced on social media during the World Cup was record-breaking, with over 5.5 million impressions across all our various platforms, our most ever. Our social media campaign went beyond just promoting transit and positioned MARTA as a World Cup experience. It demonstrated and showed people how to ride, how to pay, and how to navigate the city, as well as where to get their hands on the hottest ticket in town, the World Cup branded Breeze cards. The campaign had information for international visitors, yet it still felt local. It highlighted restaurants, attractions, local businesses, encouraged transit use beyond match days, and collaborate with partners across the region, highlighting frontline employees, transit ambassadors, and volunteers. And during the games, we used our social media pages to remove barriers to ridership, build on existing partnerships, and lean into tourism and economic development and impact of the event. So we truly ensured that MARTA was at the center of the World Cup experience. And now I'll turn it over to Greg Patterson, Finance.
Thank you, Michelle. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Patterson, Deputy CFO, and I'll continue the good news from the event. So on the revenue side, I'm going to go ahead and couch this because I always couch everything. This is somewhat incomplete information on both revenues and expenses because we're still tabulating some of those things. Work that was done in July gets billed in August, gets paid in September, and we'll have a complete finished picture in October. But early figures are looking excellent on the revenue side. As you all recall, sales tax is always one of our biggest contributors, so all the sales activity during World Cup drove up our sales tax within the forecasted range that we were expecting, resulting in approximately $8.8 million estimated sales tax growth over the June and July period. Additionally, the fare box growth from all that additional ridership, early calculations are at $2.4 million of an increase there for June and July. And then on the expenses side, it's only coming up to $5.7 million in expenses across rail, bus, and police. Obviously, some of the capital improvements will be going to that as well. On the revenue side, you'll see some of the federal grants showing up there as well once we see what our drawdowns are. But right now, it's positive, and just looking at the initial estimates that we're still working through, it's still looking positive. So it looks like it was a success for MARTA on the financial side as well. And with that, I'll hand the presentation back off to Mr. Gordon.
And that's all, folks.
There- I want to take a moment. Thank you, Mr. Gordon, for leading up the initiative. Thank you to all our leaders. And I want us all to take a moment to thank all of our frontline workers, the ATU under the leadership of President Ward and his leadership team, and helping motivate our workforce to get up and work those hours, doing extra boards, extra shifts, and everything to show up in order to keep everybody moving, minimize maintenance issues, and when issues popped up, to tamp those down without impacting patrons in any major way. So from me, from the board, thank you, President Ward. Congratulations to the team and the entire MARTA workforce for the extraordinary work that you all did. I want to take a moment for personal. Oh yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chair.
I just love to thank you on behalf of everybody at the board also. This may say more about my social life than anything else, but working at, as a MARTA ambassador was really the highlight of June for me. It was so much fun to see people excited to be riding MARTA, and it was just phenomenal watching the MARTA team, get tens of thousands of people on those trains at the SEC station. And nobody was complaining. Everybody was having fun. But I do want to piggyback on what Jonathan said to thank you, to everybody else who was out there doing that. I mean, I did it one day, but everybody else was doing it for weeks. And it is not lost on the board that I know we're in the middle of labor negotiations, but when we needed our team, everybody was Team MARTA. We weren't in negotiations on pay. We weren't any of that. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you to our MARTA workforce for showing up and making MARTA shine on the international stage. Thank you to our public safety team. Those are long, long hours to be out there. And we went into the World Cup, with two really horrible incidents that had happened. Which are traumatic to, our workforce, to our public safety workforce, to our riding public. And you all made everybody both be safe and feel safe on the system. So thank you again for that. And I don't think that our leadership team probably slept in 6 weeks. So thank you to you all last, but I know that Jonathan and Rhonda would say that without the entire workforce doing their bit, that they don't get to shine from that. So, it was fun and wonderful to be a part of it, but I know that there was just tremendous hard work for weeks on end for everybody. So thank you from the board.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to take a quick moment, a personal moment, and remind the board that we're also here to celebrate. We're here to celebrate the retirement of a true icon in Atlanta's media and communications, Miss Stephanie Fisher. She is retiring after an absolutely brilliant career. Stephanie spent years anchoring the news at CBS 46. You mastered the art of storytelling under pressure. For decades, the Atlanta region knew Stephanie as a trusted voice in their living rooms. She brought us the news with unparalleled grace and integrity. When she transitioned to MARTA, she did not just change jobs and bring your immense talent to the authority. You elevated the entire authority's narrative. As our Senior Director of Communications, you helped shape and improve how MARTA interfaces with the public. You took the complex world of public transit and made it human and made it relatable. Stephanie, you've been a leader. You've been a voice, at times the heart, and at other times the shield of our communications team. You've given so much of your life to telling Atlanta's stories. Now it's time to write your own story in retirement. The entire MARTA family is going to miss you. I'm going to personally miss you and miss your wit, your brilliant strategy, and your steady presence. Thank you for your dedication to MARTA, to journalism, to this region, and to the state of Georgia. You're going to be missed. Stephen, would you like to, any remarks?
Oh, do you want me up here or shall I?
I would go. I think he's bringing a little memento that we.
So, Stephanie, in my 30 years of professional experience, there's probably been only one other time when someone was leaving the organization or the entity, and I felt like, what the hell are we going to do now? This is the second time in my career in 30 years when that was the response, when you said that you were going to retire. We will get along, but it is a major, major loss to have you carry on. You were the veteran of our external affairs group that coached and taught many of us how to get up to speed really well, and your cool, calm, collected way of handling the media, handling your bosses, is now going to be legendary. So we just want to thank you. There's a couple of the board members that will get the sign, so I'm going to take this back.
Okay,
Or actually, I'll act like I'm getting it, and then I'll snatch it from you.
I-
But
thank you. Okay.
we're going to miss you. You've meant everything to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Well, and as a parting shot from MARTA to me, I have developed shingles from the stress of the last 6 weeks. So you can't say that I did not give it my all. But I'm so appreciative of MARTA for giving me a chance. When I left news, I thought, will my skills translate? Will anyone want to hire me? Can I even do this? And as I'm furiously Googling how to put together a communications plan and trying to teach myself how to do all this, MARTA gave me a chance, and I will be forever grateful. You are my dear friends and colleagues. I have enjoyed this immensely. I'm so proud of how we navigated World Cup, just seeing it all, it's funny that all that work and it's a slide and you think of, oh my gosh, we did it, and there's that inevitable letdown, of course, because they're like, okay, well, we did it. Now what? But I know there'll always be another challenge around the corner. So thank you all for a wonderful 9 years, and I'm going to miss you. Thank you.
Board members, an updated communications amplification toolkit will be emailed to you after the meeting today. And Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hunt. I believe, Ms. Nash, that we do have several items that we're going to go into executive session for.
Couldn't get it turned on. Yes, we have litigation and personnel items.
Okay. I will make a motion to go in. I see Ms. Hardage seconds. Everybody in favor? You got us? All right. We are going to go into executive session. Let's do the litigation matter first, just as far as who stays in the room. So, Ms. Nash, if you can give some direction to folks if anybody needs to stay. I'm going to go ahead and call to order the August 13th, 2026 MARTA Board of Directors meeting. It is 2:43 p.m. Ms. Nash, did we have any public comments to report via email or voicemail?
Yes, Madam Chair, we had 23 public comments via email, and those will be attached to the record. And 11 people signed up in person. That number may have dwindled a little bit, but started out with 11.
Okay, thank you so much. For our public comment made in person, each public speaker is allowed 2 minutes and cannot donate time to other speakers. The total time for public comment will not exceed 45 minutes. If this limit is reached before all comments are heard, the public comment period will be paused and the board meeting will continue. Public comments will then resume at the end of the board meeting. So you're going to have 2 minutes each. The time is on the screen because we are, running later into the afternoon. I'm going to ask everybody to please really watch that time. I don't like to cut people off, but we do need to stick to our 2-minute allowance. With that being said, our first speaker that I invite to the microphone is Patricia Giles.
Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Giles. I'm the president of ATU Local 732 Retiree Chapter. And I came to you all a year ago about the same thing, and I thought you were going to rectify it, and you didn't. I'm tired of taxpayer money paying lawyers to arbitrate against the union. Number one, we used to have lawyers that did it, but they was on salary. You're paying $450 an hour for lawyers when you could be using that to retain your mechanics, which is leaving, going to places that's paying them higher money. Now, I hate to keep coming saying the same thing. I'm a taxpayer, 46 years. Did 25 years with MARTA. And I continue to say the same thing over and over again, and you're not doing anything. So I hope the new CEO will realize that where the money should be placed at. And another thing I'm going to say is this. Retirees are being disrespected, and I don't appreciate it, because this company was built upon these retirees. When you have functions, you used to notify the retirees. Now you don't notify them and tell them nothing. And they built this company, really and truly. The last thing I'm going to say is ATU Local 732 is getting ready to celebrate their 110th year of representing transit in the metropolitan area. On our 100th year, we invited MARTA, and I expect for MARTA to show up on the 110th year, but you didn't on the 100th year. So that's about all I have to say is respect the retirees. Respect us. We built this company. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Giles. Our next speaker is Marvin Ray Smith, Jr.
Good morning. I ride the 46 bus, and I get it on Claremont, where it goes into the underpass and the I-85 access road. Now this bus comes out of Brookhaven and goes all the way around and back, and it is a loop. It is not two buses, it's one bus that comes around. We have tremendous amount of problem with anything coming on time, if it shows up, okay, number one, because the 46 turns into the 23 northbound when it hits Brookhaven. Why do you have a bus that runs into Brookhaven and then it changes to a 23 when you're at Brookhaven? It's going to Chamblee. That's as far as it goes. The northbound goes all the way up through the city, up to the Arts Center and places like that. Takes a good hour to get up there. And I don't understand why, we have to share our one bus with that. It makes it very difficult. Plus, you have to ask at the Brookhaven, is this the 46 or the 23, because they switch. And not everybody fixes their marquees where you can see where you're going, unless you want to spend an extra 2 hours getting back to Brookhaven because you took the wrong bus. we need, when you've got these kind of problems, it's cause and effect. We did this. We've got these problems. See if we can solve what's going on. Is it the drivers? No, it's not the drivers. The problem is the schedule is impossible to maintain. You cannot get from point A to point B in anything that resembles that schedule. It needs to be reworked. It needs people to look at it and see, how can we make this better? And I don't see that happening, and that's what we need to do. I congratulate y'all on the splendid job you did when it came to the soccer. You couldn't ask for any better help than what y'all had, and I was so proud of you.
Thank you
It's
so much,
the
Mr.
first time I've
Smith.
been able to do that.
Thank
you.
Our next speaker is Richard Conley.
Afternoon. I ride the 120 bus. The 120 bus used to go from Avondale Station to Stone Mountain and back to Avondale. Now it doesn't go to Stone Mountain anymore. It still goes to Avondale, but it also goes to Decatur now. When it leaves Decatur, it doesn't go into Avondale Station. So people have to go outside of Avondale Station and wait in the rain, the heat, and there's no cover. So they're outside in the heat, there's elderly people going shopping, and the bus runs almost every 40 minutes. So people are standing out in the heat, the rain, there's no cover. So I'm trying to see if, I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking to you guys, but I'm trying to see if you can get Bill like a little shelter or some seats so people can sit down while they wait for the bus at Avondale Station for the 120. The same thing is happening at the 15. The 15 stops in downtown Decatur. It's so bad, it's no cover there. So what people were doing were walking into this guy's restaurant and standing in front of his restaurant for cover. He shut that down. He put, now he has a little fence that blocks people from coming into that shelter, so people are standing out, still in the rain, in the heat, and I think the city of Decatur put a little bench there. So so you need cover there. And so in terms of bus schedules, if you guys hire me, I'll ride every bus schedule and fix it for you. And so you won't have to do consultants. You can just pay me $100. I'll fix out the whole bus schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. And we are aware of some issues in Decatur, but I appreciate the specific examples you provided. Next up, we have Ronnie Long.
Hello, everybody. When MARTA made changes on the 18th of April, it made things very difficult for me and the seniors and the veterans and the people who live in my community, which I live at Broadcliff Oaks apartment. It made it very difficult for us. For instance, before the changes and the 19 was there, I used to go do some shopping probably at one store, mostly one store. It would take me from 2 to 2.5 hours. One of my favorite stores to shop is DeKalb Farmers Market. And I haven't been there since the changes have been made. I haven't been there since April. I've gained weight because I like to eat healthy. I need to eat healthy. So I've gained weight, which I had lost. So, like I said, it used to take me 2.5 hours. Now it takes me from 3.5 hours to almost 6 hours to go do my shopping or do anything else. Because I have to go outside my community. I can't shop in my community no more. The 19 used to run from Chamblee to Decatur to Eastlake. It took me to North Druid Hill, on North Decatur Road, out to Shamley, Walmart or in Shamley or the Walmart, North Decatur. I like shopping at Publix. Like I say, it takes too long. And one more thing about the number 46. I have a suggestion for changing the route. It recently has been changed because of the detour. I like for that detour route to be changed permanently, unless you bring back the 19. You have veterans, it's more difficult for them to get to the VA hospital because of this number 46. And the number 46 is not dependable. One weekend, Saturday, I waited 3 hours, no bus. Sunday, I waited 3 hours, no bus. I was trying to go shopping.
Thank you so much, Mr. Long. Our next speaker will be Blake Jimerson.
How y'all doing? I'm all right. I was gonna come up here and tell y'all how much of a good job you've been doing, but it looks like in my eyes y'all caved in to the union. Now, from what I'm hearing is that you guys are looking to get rid of MARTA mobility, and we just had 40 seniors downstairs that was treated like trash. Y'all wouldn't even let them upstairs to come in the board meeting. They wanted to speak out and tell you how they were feeling, but now they gone. Another thing I want to say, and this is kind of personal about me. My grandmama, she's 88 years old. She rode the 68 Dudley. She liked to walk up and down the street. One day, she was waiting on the bus to go up to Kroger Cities on the same street. My grandma had a heat stroke because the 68 that's supposed to run every 30 minutes ran an hour and 20 minutes later. Now, I understand that we appoint a new CEO today. Is that correct? Oh, y'all not gonna speak to me? It's okay. Well, I want to tell whoever the new CEO is this right here. Stand up straight and don't bend over to the union. Stop all that back bending. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jimerson. Our next speaker will be Mr. Robinson.
Good afternoon, MARTA. I'm coming here today to speak about what you have before you is your LGR on page 4. So we're going to talk about the contracts from your outside vendors and what you guys are already made a decision to bring it back in-house on MARTA. Now, you guys were sued for this, and MARTA CEO at the time admitted that your performance at the time was 56%. Right now, it's currently at 90% from your outside vendors. No service is going to have a perfect record. So, yes, there have been one or two maybe mishaps with MARTA mobility. And I think that you guys having so many issues with your regular ride pickups that you can't function at 90% by bringing this back in-house. And the decision you guys are making, I spoke with one guy that represents the union. So I think what Mr. Blake was saying is that he said that it was running better under a white company. A white company was paying the employees $30 an hour, and the black companies were not paying them that. I'm born and raised in Atlanta. When I was raised up, white flight had taken place. So for me, I don't think that, white ice water is colder than black ice water. But some people does. So it doesn't mean that when you're standing up for black small minority business that you have something against white companies. That doesn't mean that. Standing up for black power does not mean that we saying, hey, the heck with whites and us in the third. It may mean that from the white side, but it definitely doesn't mean that from the black side. So I'm saying is that I come from up under the leadership of Ms. Ida Maynard Jackson, where he fought hard and didn't give a darn about what I'm saying, what other people thought about giving black folks chances. So for me, I was out there when some of the union workers, not all, you know what I'm saying? I come from a time where union workers really stood for something. It was the backbone of black employees. Now it seems like everybody's chasing those deductions and want that money. And that's what it seemed like sometimes, because why are we taking this from the black subs as opposed to working together? And Mr. Hunt, I think you're doing the disservice to MARTA by even accepting the CEO role, because you're an attorney, man. We know you know where all the dead bodies are. And I have seen people try to talk to you down there, and you got to have 3 or 4 people with you to explain the thing. That's okay, because you don't have a background in transportation. You're an attorney.
Right, thank
and you
you,
may
sir.
be a heck of a, a lawyer. But
Thank
sir,
you, Mr. Robinson.
you're too tall to be a puppet, sir.
All right. Next up, we have Mr. David Ward from ATU Local 732. And I apologize, I didn't see your name in here. I usually try to get you guys up to the front.
So after those last 2, wow. I didn't know we had that much power, but I guess we do. My name is David Ward. I am the president business agent of ATU Local 732. I come here with 2 messages. Roughly the first message that I need to convey, there has been a false narrative out about operator availability and absenteeism. With that being said, if you go over to any of the garages in the divisions, you will see dozens of operators in those break rooms. It's not because they don't come to work, it's equipment availability. It's not enough buses. It's not enough parts. That message is not being conveyed. And I'm not saying it's the individuals that's in this room on the other side of this podium, but that is what the news is reporting on behalf of MARTA. And we have not seen anything go out that refutes that claim. Right now today, there are dozens of operators at all divisions that do not have buses to go out. Those are your blocks. Those are your routes. Those are your trips. So I just want to make sure it's clear what the truth is, and I'm representing my members today because I've been getting a lot of calls. There has been a lot of social media posts that pretty much, if you put that out there and keep it out there, is going to make it very difficult against the union when we're trying to negotiate in this season. The second portion is the wages. Right now, there's a running joke that MARTA trains mechanics and operators to go to Cobb and Gwinnett to make almost $10 more an hour than what they're making here at MARTA. That cannot continue to happen, right? MARTA has a very robust and critical training program for maintenance, 6-month, 1 year, and 2.5 year apprentice program. You do not want companies on the outskirts to take your skilled labor workers, nor your operators. I'm the chief negotiator on those properties, and I can tell you that it was a time that MARTA was the top paid, they had the top paid operators in the region. And we have been surpassed in the last 5 or 6 years. We're no longer that. And even if you start with a 15% increase, you're gonna still be under where Cobb just is leaving today. They're making $33.50 now with a 7% increase that puts them over $34 an hour. With a 15% increase, an operator right now at MARTA, being rail or bus, will not even meet that criteria in 1 year.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ward.
Yes.
Our next speaker is Freddie Arnold.
Good afternoon. Like she said, my name is Freddie Arnold, and I have concerns about not just 165 and the buses that I frequent, but the whole MARTA system. You guys shuffle the deck on everybody, complete deck, software and hardware, caught everybody off guard, no notification, no prior warning, no shot over the bow, just a dead bullseye at the whole ridership at MARTA. And I'm totally dissatisfied. The buses don't show up, buses canceled, routes rerouted, still learning the system. I asked MARTA officials about how to operate and navigate, and nobody could tell me specifically only in their area, and they weren't very well versed on that. And I was taught growing up, I'm 75 years old, born in 1950, went through the civil rights movement, the whole 9 yards, and I was taught back in the day we had different principles, different cultures, that if there's a problem, look at leadership. I don't know who came up with this idea. Remodel all of the MARTA stations doing FIFA. Where the planning at? It made absolutely no sense. And one person didn't do this. It was a group. But every group got a leader. Just because somebody makes a suggestion doesn't mean that you have to agree with it. That's why you're there, to see things that they missed. A team. And you went to AI. You're gonna let a dude that don't have a heart tell me what the rules are. Logic, no compassion. Show me that. You're supposed to be public servants, but the public is not properly being served.
Thank you so much, Mr. Arnold.
Hey, you gave everybody a couple of few seconds. All right.
Thank you.
Again, another disservice.
All right, our last speaker today is Mr. James Atkins. He's also with ATU Local 732.
How you all doing? Good afternoon, board. James Atkins, I'm the Vice President of Maintenance and the non-MARTA properties. Again, you guys have seen that we've been coming diligently to these board meetings trying to get you guys to understand the issues that not only the ATU's having, but the public. We've sat with Jonathan and his team on a number of occasions trying to present our side of actually how do we see MARTA in the direction that we're moving in. A lot of what these people have come up and said has some legitimacy to it. A lot of it does. And we come to this board in order to get some understanding and facts on accountability. There's accountability on all of us here as leaders. And so when President Ward talked about some of the issues of retaining, especially our maintenance, I'm the Vice President of Maintenance. And I'm seeing MARTA train these guys through apprenticeship over a 2-year period. And because we're not able to give them a decent wage, I've actually seen 5 to 10 of our best mechanics leave to go to UPS, FedEx, Delta, and they've trained with us through all these years. We're having major issues with parts, and we continue to talk about why we're not coming to work. And I tell people at the top is we have to answer that question first. Is there anything that we're doing that makes it hard for people not want to take care of their families by coming to work? There has to be some other accountability here too. We've come here continuously, asking for you guys' help. We've asked for your input. That we've got to do something here because it haven't changed. We've been coming since January, and things continue to be the same. So I'm asking you guys to reach out to us. We're reaching out to you all. If you got any questions on how we're going to make this authority better, we need answers because you see what's happening. Even though we say we're putting it out here, it's still not getting out here, and a lot of people are suffering from this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Atkins. All right, our next agenda item is approval of the minutes from our July 16th, 2026 meeting. May I have a motion and a second? If there are no edits or discussion, everybody please vote. All right, the minutes have been approved. Before we get to our board committee reports, I'm going to rearrange the order of the agenda a little bit and take us to the selection of the general manager, CEO of MARTA, and I'm going to read a resolution in. So, just one second. This is a resolution authorizing the chair of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority Board of Directors to execute a general manager CEO employment agreement with Jonathan Hunt. Whereas the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority MARTA Board of Directors authorized the chair of the board to create a GM CEO search committee with the intent to perform a nationwide search for a permanent GM CEO. And whereas MARTA engaged the services of DSG Global to perform the search for a new GM CEO, and whereas 3 candidates with varying backgrounds and experience in transportation and other business sectors were identified for interviews, and following the interviews, 3 were named as finalists, and whereas the GM CEO search committee found that all 3 candidates demonstrated their ability to lead MARTA into the future, and that the MARTA board should select among these 3 candidates, and whereas the MARTA board of directors, today, if we pass this resolution, will select Jonathan Hunt as the new GM CEO of MARTA. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Directors of the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Authority that Mr. Jonathan Hunt is hereby named GM CEO of MARTA, and therefore be it further resolved, the Chair of the Board of Directors is hereby authorized to negotiate an agreement for Mr. Jonathan Hunt to serve as MARTA's CEO GM with the final terms to be approved by the Board of Directors. And I will make a motion that we approve this resolution. I saw Mr. Loke's hand up. Ms. Huff, are we in the system, or we need to hand vote? We are in the system. So it's not showing on my system. Give me one second. Okay. It's on now. Does anybody have, it is open now, it has been properly moved and seconded. Questions or comments? And I am going to reserve mine. All right, everybody please vote. And the resolution has been adopted. I'm going to give everybody a chance to speak, but before we go any further, I want to say a few words about how we got here, because the decision that this board has just made is one of the most consequential we will ever make. When the previous GM retired last year, we made a promise to the riders and the taxpayers of this region. We told them that we would run a search worthy of one of the largest transit systems in the country, and that we would take the time to get it right. We certainly took our time, but I believe we have kept that promise. So first, I want to thank our search committee for all of their hard work. This was an extraordinarily thorough process, and it was meant to be. We wanted to leave no stone unturned in finding the best person to lead MARTA into the future and take this system to the next level. We had members from each jurisdiction serve on the search committee, so I want to thank Ms. Jones from City of Atlanta, Ms. Williamson from Clayton, Ms. Galisa from DeKalb, Mr. Pond from Fulton County, and Mr. Loke from the state. We retained Diversified Search Group after a competitive selection, and they ran a truly national search, casting a wide net across the entire transportation and related sectors, from public transit to airports and airlines, freight and passenger rail, ports authorities and logistics, and identifying and contacting more than 250 candidates. Our committee, made up of board members from each of our jurisdiction, worked hand in hand with DSG to build a rigorous position description to screen and vet those candidates and to design a structured interview process. I want to thank Kevin Kelly and Veronica Biggins and the whole DSG team for their partnership. They went above and beyond of putting in the hours and the time. They are here in Atlanta, and this was a passion project for them, and it showed. I want to thank my fellow board members for the care that they brought to every stage, especially Al Pond, who co-led this search with me. We heard from a number of outstanding and highly qualified candidates, and that told me something important. MARTA is very well regarded across this country, and there was real national interest in this role. The process gave us 3 exceptional finalists, and I don't say that lightly. Cleveland Ferguson, Leroy Jones, and Jonathan Hunt each brought something real to the table, and any one of them could have led MARTA well. So on behalf of the entire board, I want to thank all three candidates for their candor, their preparation, and their willingness to step forward for public service. So after our interviews on Monday and our deliberations today, this board selected Jonathan Hunt as MARTA's permanent general manager and chief executive officer. We could not be more excited to have Jonathan on board in this permanent role. He inherited the interim job a year ago with high expectations and a very long list of major projects coming online at one of the most transformational moments in MARTA's history. Through it all, he led with passion, with dedication, and with unwavering leadership, culminating in what was, by nearly every account, an extremely successful World Cup. For those few months, all eyes were on MARTA and on Jonathan, and he met the moment and delivered. And I know Jonathan would tell you he did not do that alone. He has an exceptional team, and that is the kind of leader that he is, and I'm sure I will give him a moment to speak also, but he would correct me on that this was the Jonathan show. Part of what gives this board such confidence in how well Part of what gives this board such confidence in Jonathan is how well Jonathan knows MARTA. He joined us in 2014 and spent more than a decade in our legal department, rising from chief of corporate law and real estate to deputy chief counsel to chief legal counsel before stepping into this role. He understands our operations, our finances, our capital program, and the complicated web of government and community interests that we answer to, because he has been in the room for all of it. He has taken on the hard work, the more MARTA project list renegotiation with the City of Atlanta, our safety and service priorities, our relationships with each of our jurisdictions, with the accountability and the integrity that this board asked for in our position description. And he serves on the national board of APTA, which is the American Public Transit Association, and chairs its Legal Affairs Committee, so he brings a voice respected well beyond Atlanta. But what ultimately made Jonathan the most qualified candidate was not a single credential. It was his leadership and the belief this board shares that he has MARTA headed in the right direction. Over the past year, he has strengthened our relationships with our jurisdictional partners, with the business community, with our staff and stakeholders, and most importantly, with our riders. That, together with his intimate knowledge of this system, is why we are so excited about the future of MARTA under his leadership. I also want to thank our jurisdictional partners, the City of Atlanta, Fulton, DeKalb, and Clayton counties, along with our partners at the state. MARTA is a shared enterprise, and your steady collaboration is what makes this work in a search like this one possible. And to the riders who count on this system every single day, this decision in the end is about you. Thank you for your patience. I know this has taken a long time, and your trust. You are the reason we hold this work to the highest standard, and you have my commitment and Jonathan's that we will keep earning it. We have a unique opportunity to carry the momentum of the World Cup into our everyday routine excellence of service. And Jonathan is the right leader to help us do exactly that, and the board will hold him to that standard. The work ahead is significant, but I've never been more optimistic about where this authority is headed. Jonathan, you have my full support and the full support of the board. Congratulations and welcome to our new general manager and chief executive officer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Board. This past year has been an amazing journey. I could not have done it without my leadership team, without the leadership team of the ATU under President Ward, who we just heard from. That collaboration has begun to get stronger. They certainly challenge us. We welcome it, and we're looking forward to deepening that relationship. I look forward, under the leadership that I will steward for MARTA, to a greater level of collaboration across our jurisdictions, with our business partners, and with our community leaders. And additionally, some additional transparency, as much as we possibly can, in order to build back trust in MARTA. We started doing that in a major way this year, but we still have a long way to go. And again, accountability. I think it's good for the authority. I think it's good for building trust throughout the region, and I think it's good for moving us forward. As you said, Madam Chair, there is a lot of work to do, and I'm going to borrow a statement from His Honor Mayor Dickens when he says that Atlanta is a group project. Well, so is MARTA. And going forward, we're going to go forward in a collaborative way so everybody feels as though they're part of that group project versus MARTA standing alone. We'll work tirelessly, myself and the leadership team, to improve MARTA and most importantly, improving the patron experience that MARTA provides. I know we're going to speak with the press after this, so to our friends, just be patient, let the board do their work, and we'll hang back for a few minutes for a couple of questions. But with that, I say thank you. I'm going to take one last personal privilege, and I want to thank Deputy General Manager Allen. This last year and us going forward, I could not have done it without you. I could not have asked for a better Deputy General Manager, friend, colleague, persistent needler, and tireless worker. Whenever I need somebody to meet me, no matter the time of day or stressful point, you're always there, so thank you.
All right, we are going to go back to our regularly scheduled programming of our board committee reports. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Williamson.
She needs to go out. I'm going to do a report. I'm going to do a report.
To Mr. Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Planning and Capital Programs Committee met on Thursday, July the 23rd, 2026, and approved the following resolution. A resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between Clayton County and MARTA for a program coordinator position, IGA A600518. I request your approval of this resolution.
That item has been approved.
Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you so much. Next, we'll move to business management.
Madam Chair, the Business Management Committee convened on Thursday, July 23rd, 2026, and approved the following resolutions. Resolution authorizing a modification and contractual authorization for the sole source Microsoft Unified Support Services, RFPP P50507. Item B, resolution authorizing the award for a contract for Tanium Vulnerability Management Services utilizing the Federal General Services Administration contract, RFPP P600493. Item C, resolution authorizing a modification and contractual authorization for demand response transit software and equipment, RFP P50482. And the last item, resolution authorizing a non-exclusive revocable license agreement with Metro Access Transmission Services Corp. in the amount of $239,442.01 for continued operation of an underground fiber optic system, MARTA parcels D3223X, D2116X, D41979X, and D2118X, Fulton County, Georgia. I request the approval of these resolutions.
Was a motion made? I don't see it on. Yes, I did. Okay.
Yep. Jennifer motioned.
Those 4 items have been approved.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Loke, Operations and Safety.
Madam Chair, the Operations and Safety Committee convened on Thursday, July 23rd, 2026, and received the following briefings. A, Rail and Streetcar Key Performance Indicators Quarterly Briefing. B, Passenger Environment Program. C, Maintenance and Rehabilitation Performance Briefing. Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Loke. And finally, External Relations. Ms. Jones.
Madam Chair, the External Relations Committee convened on Thursday, July 23rd, 2026, and received the following briefings. A, Post-FIFA World Cup 2026. B, March through June media impressions. Madam Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Ms. Nash, was there anything else? There was nothing else from executive session, correct?
There was nothing from executive
Okay.
session. Thank you.
Is there anything else from the board? All right, then we shall adjourn. Thank you.